Welcome to the Echo Lab, the place where music's best-kept secrets come to light. In every episode, we uncover the overlooked legends, the underground classics, and the hidden influences that shape the soundtrack of generations. From cult bands and iconic session players to the untold stories behind timeless tracks. If you're a fan of deep cuts and deep dives, you're in the right place. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you never miss a beat. Let's get into the story behind the sound. Randy Rhoads, the guitar genius who redefined metal. Picture a smoky arena in 1981, thousands screaming as a small figure with a polka dot. Les Paul unleashes the opening riff of Crazy Train, a sound that shakes the walls. That was Randy Rhoads, a 24-year-old guitar prodigy whose blazing fingers turned Ozzy Osbourne's solo career into a metal legend. Born in a California music school, he wove classical precision with rock's fury, creating a sound that rewrote the rules. But was he set to leave Ozzy, chasing dreams beyond metal? Were they as tight as Ozzy swore, or was trouble brewing? A tragic plane crash in 1982 stole Randy at 25, but his riffs still echo in 2025. Ever felt a riff hit your soul so hard you can't sit still? That's Randy's magic, and his story of hustle, genius, and heartbreak will grab you tight. Let's dive into Randy Rhoads' epic journey. Randy grew up in Burbank, California, born December 6, 1956, to Dolores and William Rhoads, both music teachers. When Randy was a toddler, William left and Dolores raised him, his brother Kelly, and sister Kathy alone, running Musonia, a North Hollywood music school. Their home was alive with music. No radio, just live notes. Dolores, a UCLA music grad, taught Randy to read sheet music at 6, starting him on classical guitar. By 7, he strummed folk tunes, his small hands chasing Bach and Vivaldi. Jimi Hendrix's death in 1970 sparked his electric guitar obsession at 13, blending Leslie West's grit, Ritchie Blackmore's flair, and Leo Kocky's finger-picking finesse. A quirky fact: Randy loved toy trains, building intricate tracks in his room, a hobby he'd sneak into tour buses. His style was a revelation: classical precision, rock energy, melodic heart. At 15, he joined Quiet Riot, co-founded with Kevin Dubrow, rocking LA's Whiskey A Go Go. His polka dot theme, ties, guitars, amps, became their trademark. Quiet Riot's 1978 debut. Quiet Riot I sold big in Japan, but U.S. labels passed. Randy taught at Musonia to pay bills, his patients inspiring kids. Dolores sewed his stage outfits, polka dot vests and all. Kelly, a drummer, pushed him in late-night jams. His girlfriend, Jody Raskin, sent letters during gigs, steadying his nerves. A lesser-known gem, Randy played in a jazz trio at 16, riffing on Chick Corea tunes, surprising his rock pals. The L.A. scene was fierce, and Randy was driven. At 22, he felt stuck. Quiet Riot wasn't breaking out. He taught guitar by day, gig by night, his shyness making crowds tough. In 1979, Slaughter bassist Dana Strum urged him to audition for Ozzy Osbourne, fresh from Black Sabbath. Randy, hesitant, showed up with a Les Paul and a tiny amp Ozzy half tipsy, heard him warm up and yelled, "You're hired!" Randy later laughed. He never met Ozzy that night. Dana broke the news. Joining Ozzy, Bob Daisley, and Lee Kerslake, he recorded Blizzard of Oz in 1980. Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley soared, Randy's neoclassical solos reshaping metal. At 24, he was a sensation, but fame fell heavy. Was Randy planning to leave Ozzy? Yes, and the reasons ran deep. By 1981, Randy was restless. Ozzy's wild lifestyle, booze, drugs, late-night chaos, clashed with Randy's discipline. He sipped anisette, smoked heavily, but avoided hard drugs, as Rudy Sarzo noted. Sharon Arden, Ozzy's manager, tightened the leash with a strict contract, frustrating Randy. Sources like Bob Daisley and Reddit threads mention Ozzy once punched Randy during a heated row over his desire to quit. Randy confided to Jody he wanted to study classical guitar at UCLA, aiming for a master's degree. He planned one more studio album and a live Black Sabbath covers record. Then he'd walk, his heart set on pieces like his Tender D for Dolores. Were Randy and Ozzy as close as Ozzy claimed? It was a mix of bond and strain. Ozzy called Randy his best mate and musical soulmate, crediting him for saving his career. They clicked musically. Randy shaped Ozzy's solo sound, co-writing hits with precision. Offstage, they shared laughs, like when Randy dragged Rudy Sarzo to hunt toy trains in London shops. But tension simmered. Bob Daisley and Lee Kerslake, sacked in 1981, so the band quit twice over sharing control and Ozzy's outbursts. Reddit posts suggest Sharon worried Randy's rising star would outshine Ozzy. Still, Diary of a Madman was a triumph. Randy's classical intros like Over the Mountain, proving their chemistry. Randy's rise was lightning fast. Blizzard of Oz went platinum, Crazy Train, a radio anthem. He toured arenas, his polka dot Les Paul gleaming. Guitar World named him Best New Guitarist in 1981, fans chanting his name. He sought classical teachers on tour, practicing etudes while Ozzy partied, as Rudy Sarzo recalled. His influences Bach, Blackmore, Alan Holdsworth's jazz, gave his solos a unique spark. A hidden fact, Randy designed polka dot amps for Ampeg in 1980. Prototypes never sold, but loved by his band. His stage presence was electric, but offstage he stayed reserved, his 105-pound frame lost in polka dot gear, nerves flaring before shows. Tragedy struck on March 19, 1982, in Leesburg, Florida. On a tour stop, Randy, scared of planes but wanting aerial photos of Dolores, boarded a small aircraft with pilot Andrew Aycock and hairdresser Rachel Youngblood. Aycock buzzed the tour bus to wake Ozzy. On the third pass, the plane clipped the bus, crashing into a garage. It burst into flames, killing Randy Aycock, and Youngblood at 10 a.m. Rudy Sarzo heard Ozzy's anguished cries in a nearby church. Jody Raskin, catching the news on the radio, pulled over, sobbing. Bob Daisley and Lee Kerslake mourned in Houston, calling Randy a gentle soul. The aftermath was crushing. Ozzy drowned his grief in booze, blaming himself for sleeping through the crash. Sharon said Randy was Ozzy's everything, his guilt lasting decades. Dolores kept Musonia alive, launching a Randy Rhoads scholarship at Cal State Northridge. The 1987 live album tribute hit number 6. It's the Outtakes, a gift to fans. A lesser-known fact, Randy wrote a musical, Polka Dot Dreams, in 1981, mixing metal and classical, staged by Musonia students in 1985. Another gem. He started a sci-fi novel in 1980, abandoned after 10 pages, but Kelly cherished it. Randy's legacy was colossal. His 2 Ozzy albums, Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman, birthed neo-classical metal, inspiring Zakk Wylde, Kirk Hammett, and John Petrucci. In 2021, he entered the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Ozzy and Tom Morello hailing his genius. In 2025, Kevin Churko teased unreleased Ozzy tracks, and Musonia's memorial concert drew thousands. TikTok tributes of Crazy Train covers exploded, with 8 million Spotify streams monthly. A subtle nod, his polka dot style shaped Sinister Gates' aesthetic, Avenged Sevenfold citing him as a hero. Randy's relationships were his core. Dolores was his mentor, guiding his discipline. Jody's tour letters kept him grounded. Rudy Sarzo and Bob Daisley were brothers in arms, sharing train hunting adventures. He mentored Musonia students, giving free lessons, his kindness legendary. His net worth at death, $500,000, came from tours and albums, modest for his impact. Randy Rhoads was a Burbank dreamer who became metal's architect, reserved yet relentless. He fought chaos for art. His guitar was his voice, vibrant, expressive, timeless. His riffs echo in every metal anthem, every kid shredding in a bedroom, still burning bright today. Thanks for hanging out with the Echo Lab. Whether you're listening on your favorite podcast app or watching on YouTube, we appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow, subscribe, and drop a review or comment to let us know what you think. Got a band, topic, or a deep cut you want featured? Shoot us a message. Until next time, this is the Echo Lab, where we dive into the story behind the sound.